Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and if you are returning here then welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about ADHD and giving you guys some tips and advice that I have learnt and sort of come up with over the years of my life, sort of help deal with having ADHD. So I was diagnosed about 2 years ago when I was 21 years old, literally months after I had finished university, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth, going your entire education and then finding out you have ADHD. And you could have gotten so much help that whole time, if only you knew. Then since knowing about it, I've been able to identify things that I have done in my life that are making things harder for myself, and things that I've been doing that have also been making things easier for myself. So I'm combining sort of some do's and don'ts to hopefully help some of you guys out there, and maybe these will just apply to you in general, because the thing is with ADHD is that people can have, you know, 1, 2, 3 symptoms of ADHD, but that doesn't mean that they actually have ADHD. This may help you in general, or you just want to learn more about it, or you're just curious, or you think you have ADHD, and if some of these things help you, then I think that's a plus for everyone, isn't it? So my first tip is, if you have an iPhone, I'm not sure how it works on Androids, but I'm assuming similarly, on your phone, if you have a calendar app, which I'm pretty sure every single phone has a calendar app, and you can add events, do that. That is how I live my life. That is how I run my life. That is how I organize my life. And without my phone and my calendar app, I would be a mess and I wouldn't get anything done and everything would just go to shit. So my calendar app is my life. I've tried using written diaries, but the thing is that things just change a lot, and I change a lot, and my plans change, and my priorities change, and things come up that need to, you know, things just move around. Nothing goes as it's ever first planned, and accepting that is a big part of it. Just accepting that things are going to change. I didn't get on with writing things down in a diary because I would just be crossing it out and making a mess, or, you know, you have to use a pencil but then it doesn't rub out properly and it just ruins the paper and everything just goes to shit anyway. So I use my phone calendar. Now the good thing about at least how I know it works on iPhone, is that you can type an event in and you can move it around really easily. Literally just people don't even know you can do this. Like, I've done it in front of people and they're just like, how did you do that? So like, if you don't know you can do this on an iPhone, at least, as I've said, if you hold down on an event in your calendar, you can just move it around. You can drag it to the next day, you can move it up and down. So that for me is like the best thing ever, because it means that what I'm putting in isn't permanent, and that relieves a lot of the anxiety that I get about writing things down or about making something a thing, because I'm like, well, things are going to change, and for some reason that freaks my brain out and I don't want to write it down at all, whereas in reality I need to get it down with the knowledge that I can change it later. Every day or every few days, or even just at the end of every week, I will go in and add all the things that I need to do in the week, all the things that are already planned with times and dates, when I'm working, when I have to have dinner, when I need to have a shower, when I need to sleep. Like, I put all of these things in my calendar. I block out hours of sleep. I block out an hour for dinner every single evening. I block out when I need to shower, when I need to get dressed, when I need to leave for somewhere to be there on time. It's all in my phone calendar. And that just takes the pressure off of trying to remember it, because the fact is I just wouldn't. So it has to be written down. And then, as I said, I can move things around. So if I plan out a whole week, make sure you give yourself moving time. That means as you start going through the week, if you don't get something done on Monday and it needs to be moved to Tuesday, you can do that. If you need to move something over to Thursday, you can do that. Or if you need to shift days over, you need to shift whatever you need to do to move around, you know, that's the beauty of it, and that's why it works for me. So whatever I don't get done in one day, I can just move it on to the next day, or, you know, whatever it needs be. But that is how I live my life. You can put things on repeat so that it happens at the same time every day or every week or every month. So I go to pole class every single Tuesday, so that is in every single Tuesday, because I will forget to add it and then I will book something over it, and that's happened before and it's really fucking shit. The next tip I have is that if you are currently on any prescribed medication, Google its interaction with ADHD and just check that it's not making things worse or anything like that, because for me, I was on antidepressants for 3 years, and over that time my ADHD got worse massively, and I always just sort of put it down to the fact that I was going through university at the time and then moving and like just stress. I put it down to stress basically, but I've recently come off of my antidepressants and my ADHD symptoms lessened and like kind of leveled back out again. Then I realized that it had gotten worse over those 3 years of being on them. So I'm not saying stop taking your antidepressants. It's about being educated on what's actually happening and making a choice that's right for you. If you find out that your medication might be causing your ADHD to be a little bit worse, but the positives of that medication outweighs that, then you want to stay on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about knowing everything and making an informed decision that is right for you. What was causing my depression to get really bad was being at university and still being in education, and my mental health in general has just gotten better since being an adult with freedom and working a job rather than being at school. School was just horrible for me, and when you're an adult you can sort of live in a way that is better suited to being atypical rather than neurotypical, because school is made for neurotypicals and it's just a nightmare if you're not that. My next tip is going to sound really fucking basic, but it's true. Make sure you are hydrated and make sure you're drinking enough water, because it's not going to improve your ADHD, but being dehydrated is going to make your ADHD a lot worse. And again, I know that from experience. It's like, the way it can make your head physically feel, or the way it can make thinking feel, like, it's such a strange thing to describe, but like, it's like a mechanism that's like stuck, you know. You need to oil it up, it needs to be hydrated. But that's the thing, you have ADHD, so you forget that you need to fucking drink water, and then your ADHD gets worse, and then you definitely don't fucking remember to drink water, and then it just keeps fucking going. So I have a water bottle now, and again, it seems really fucking obvious, but it's something that you just overlook because it seems too obvious. That's another thing with ADHD, you can overlook the really simple things because you just think it's too obvious, like it's a trick. But no, just getting a fucking water bottle, putting it somewhere that you're gonna see it. So I always keep mine on my bedside table, right where I'd put my phone, or on my desk. I will put it in front of my laptop because I know I'm gonna fucking sit there the next day and I will see it. And what I do, because I don't really enjoy drinking water, but I count to 10 and I drink 10 big gulps. And sometimes if I want to keep going, I'll go to 15. If I'm feeling it, if I'm enjoying the water, I'll go to 15. After that, I'm feeling a little bit like, whew, wishy in my stomach, so I'll stop. You don't want to drink too much in one go, but I find 10 gulps, just count to 10, is a good way of me getting in enough. And then also it sort of just gives your brain something to do. Like, it just, just try it. And eventually you'll just work your way down the bottle, and I try to fill it up every day, and you'll get into the habit of it. If you put it somewhere where you're already going as a habit, which is why I always put it where my phone is, because I always go to get my phone in the same place. So if you put it in the way of something that is already a habit, that's how you can integrate a new habit, by combining a habit you already have. See, these tips have like sub tips. Okay, my next tip is headphones and listening to music. Now, this for me helps me when I need to focus on something and I am feeling very distracted by my environment, and just by being somewhere where there's lots of things. Like, I kind of need the headphones and the loud music to take me out of my environment and put me in my little focus bubble. So I used to always study with listening to loud music in my headphones, because it just meant that any external noise was cut out. It sort of satisfies that part of the brain that wants to be distracted and like do other things. So I can really concentrate on reading and writing stuff when I'm listening to music, because it's like I'll have the part of my brain that needs to focus, whilst another part of my brain is like going like, oh, what's over there, and what's that, and what's this, and you know. So that part of the brain is satisfied by the music, which allows the other parts of my brain to focus on what I need to do. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, try it. I don't know. But I would suggest classical music is really good if the words are distracting you. You can search on YouTube for instrumental versions of songs. So if you want to listen to pop music but the lyrics are distracting you, I'd recommend doing that. But for me, I can literally listen to like rock and metal and it's just noisy enough that like it's kind of like white noise almost. But I can't listen to white noise because white noise personally kind of creeps me out. It makes me feel like I'm in a horror movie. But for some people, white noise helps. Sometimes I listen to rain sounds because it's like white noise but less creepy. My next tip is going to be a little controversial, but again, I just want to share my personal experiences with you. I'm not saying anybody has to do what I do, but I'm just putting it out there. Something that I have found that works for me in improving my sleep is smoking weed before I go to bed, and this really just has changed my life because sleep is something I have always struggled with. I will lay in bed and my brain will feel like there is 10 TVs going on inside. I'm running through my day like this, but at the same time can't remember what I've done all day, but somehow I'm still running over it in my mind at times 10 speed. Very confusing. I'll have music playing in my head. Like I can think of songs as if I'm genuinely hearing them. My imagination is very vivid. So there's just always a lot of information going fucking in my brain. And that, as you can imagine, makes it very hard to sleep. I have always been a night owl. I have always been tired, always never getting enough sleep, and then when I do manage to sleep, I will sleep for fucking hours. Like I slept for like 11 hours today just because I could, like, and I can, but it's falling asleep that's the problem. And if I cannot fall asleep, then I will be laying in bed for like 4 or 5 hours until I'm so exhausted that like I just knock out. But for the average day, I need the weed to help calm my brain down, quieten it out. It relieves so much anxiety, and it's anxiety honestly that is like adding to what's going on in my brain because I'm so stressed about it, and I'm stressed about forgetting all these things that are spinning through my head. But the truth is, at that time they don't matter. Like, they're not important. I don't need to be thinking of all those things when I'm trying to sleep at 2 a.m. But try telling this one that, you know, she just don't listen. So that honestly helps me, and I have never in my life been able to fall asleep within 20 minutes, half an hour at most, sometimes even just 5 or 10 minutes, thanks to just smoking weed. And I do not smoke with tobacco. I would not recommend smoking with tobacco. It is like literally one of the most addictive substances. You don't need it. It's a lot worse for your lungs. There's a lot more shit in it. And also nicotine is not really like, I don't think that's very good for needing to sleep, unless it's because you are soothing an addiction you already have to it. But like a lot of people, their first time smoking nicotine, it actually gives them like a rush, so it's more of a stimulant. I would avoid that. And also, I don't drink, so I don't appreciate any judgment from anyone ever about smoking weed, because most people drink alcohol and I think that's fucking grim. But I don't bitch about it all the time, so I don't expect the same from those people. Thank you. And also, if you are under 18, don't do it. Like, that's not me saying it just because I should. That's me genuinely saying it. Like, I didn't start smoking until I was 20. And if you have ADHD as well, like, you do not want to be fucking with your brain at that age, because it's just too young. And it can end up causing more damage than good. Like, I have noticed a pattern in people that started smoking when they were younger, who now say, like, I'm talking like 13, 14, who now say that they can't smoke it without getting paranoia, or without their heart rate increasing and all these horrible symptoms that you just don't want. And then I've noticed in people who started smoking when they were older and have been going for 10, 20 years, who have never developed those kind of symptoms. So smoking when you're younger can like really just fuck it up for you in the long run, and I just wouldn't advise it. So if you are under the age of 18, just don't do it, because I promise you it will just cause you more harm than good, and you will want it when you're 25 or when you're 30. And if you ruined it by using it too young and now you can't smoke it anymore, you'll think of this video and you'll be like, damn, I should have listened. Just saying. My next tip is to stop beating yourself up. And this is something that I did for years, because obviously going through your entire education system, I'm an intelligent person, and I was in top set for everything. I was in the gifted groups and all that sort of bollocks, and all it did was make things very difficult for me and just pile on work that was unnecessary when I was already struggling to keep up with what I had to do as the minimum. But because when I pushed myself and being intelligent, I could get high level work out, it just meant that when the workload increased, I just fucking flopped and had no tools whatsoever to help me. Nobody gave me the kind of help that I needed, because I was put up at such a level where it's like the possibility of me having a learning difficulty or some abnormality in my brain just like wasn't even considered or like an option. Like nobody detected it, nobody ever asked me if I was struggling. It was always just, you can do better, you just need to concentrate more, you just need to work harder. Like it was always me that needed to do more. So I got into this cycle of just years and years and years of struggling so much to fucking coast by, and then always beating myself up after every single deadline or every single hand in or every single project, thinking I could have done better. I could have done better. And it would never, and it was always my fault. I would always beat myself up for it. And all that did was build that habit of, like, it just added to that cycle, and it just ingrained it in me that it was just my fault, and I just need to do more. I just need to try harder. I just need to concentrate more. And it's like, why the fuck? Like, why would I be putting myself through all this stress and all this fucking, like, it caused me so much grief and really fucked with my mental health so bad. Nothing good comes from negativity. Like, the clue is in the word negative, subtract. Like, when you are constantly just beating yourself up or being negative or tearing yourself down, that is not going to produce anything better. That's not going to create anything better. Like, and I had to learn that the hard way. I really did. It took me a long time to learn that, because you almost feel like you don't deserve to be easy on yourself, but that's the thing, you do. And the only time that anything is going to get better, and the only time that you're going to actually produce more and do more and be more and create more, just all these positive things, is that when you actually start being positive towards yourself. And that sounds so fucking cheesy, but it's true. The more you beat yourself up, the less motivated you're going to be to do anything. So sometimes if all you can think about is watching something on YouTube or playing something or creating something, like I get cravings to like create and do art and stuff like that. So if that's what is on my mind, I just let myself do it. And then once that's out of my system and it's not nagging in my brain anymore, like at the back of my mind, like, oh, do this, do this, do this. If I give in to what I actually really want to do, it's then easier for me to do the other stuff afterwards, because I don't have that thing in my brain fucking going off anymore. So sometimes you just have to allow yourself to actually do what you want to do, and then you'll feel like doing the other things are easier. You're never going to make the actual task easier, but you can change how you feel about doing the task, and that is everything. And you're just like, why couldn't I feel this way 10 hours ago or a week ago? Like, why did it take me this long to be able to feel like I can do this? Nothing's changed in your environment or your capabilities, but your mindset has changed, your attitude has changed. And sometimes that takes a week of thinking about the task ahead, and then it will click, you know, like, so you have to stop beating yourself up, because it's not going to help. People do not progress as much when they are being shat on all the time as they do with positive reinforcement. So you have to celebrate all the little successes. You have to be kind to yourself and actually realize that it's not your fault. You're kind of working against you're working against the tide sometimes, so you have to be kind to yourself, because that's the only way you're going to be able to keep going forward. Okay, so this is a definite don't for me personally. I've seen a lot of people suggest alarms and reminders and things that go off at a certain time. I've seen a lot of people recommend that for ADHD, and for me personally it just doesn't work, because it will go off and I will just gone. And I think, oh yeah, okay, I'll get to that in 10 minutes, but let me just finish what I'm doing. No, It's gone and I've not thought about it again, and next thing I know it's 3 hours later. So that shit just doesn't work for me. That is why I use my calendar, or I can move things around. So if things take longer than I was thinking, I can just move the thing that's afterwards a little bit up. You know, like things just never go on time. Like, I don't understand people who can just, oh, alarm's gone off, stop doing this thing, start doing this thing. Like, no, if I'm like in something, I can't just switch at the time that my phone tells me to. I need to sort of wind down naturally and, like, you know, have a sort of buffering period in between activities. So fitting to an alarm schedule just doesn't work for me, because things don't run like that. I'm not a robot. I don't run like a robot. I don't run on time. So I need to give myself leeway for that. If anything, set an alarm to check your calendar and just see where you are. Remind yourself just to see whether you're on schedule, because then you're not stopping what you're doing, you're just having a quick look, and then you can continue back to what you were doing, but you're now mindful of how long you've been spending on it or what you need to do next, and then you can start winding down and naturally switch activities. So my next tip is get notebooks and get cheap ugly ones. I am a sucker for a really cute notebook, but then I don't want to write in it because I don't want to ruin it, because I don't want to change my mind with what I've put in it. I don't want to scribble things out, and I'm a messy writer because what I'm writing from is a mess. So I'm going to write things and change my mind, and I'm going to make loads of spelling errors, and I'm going to scribble things out and rip a page out and start again, or I'm going to write 3 things in the book and then realize that actually I want to use this book for something else. So having something that you are not scared to ruin by using it is just getting rid of that sort of block. You just want things that you know you can scribble things down in. It doesn't matter whether it's the right book or whether it looks neat or whatever. It's just about getting what's in here out on here so you can see it and you can work with it that way. That is like the number one thing. Taking things out of your brain and putting them in something physical that you can see frees up that sort of, like, if you think of it as like computer RAM, where you've got lots of programs open and then eventually your computer's just like, I can't do anymore, and like it just freezes. Writing things out is sort of a way of clearing your working memory and your brain's sort of like current thought processes, so then you can actually use your brain to do the things you need to do once you've taken out all those sort of bustling thoughts and whatever's going on, and you've put it out in front of you into the physical world where you can see it and you can cut it up and you can scribble it out and you can do whatever the fuck that you need to do to it. So yeah, I always just recommend getting things onto paper, getting things out of your brain, because that's what we have. We just have so much going on and it just needs to get out. So writing things down, whether that's on your phone or, I like books. Books are fun. I have like 5 different notebooks that I got from Tesco. It's actually just an A5 notebook, and I can rip pages out really easily because it's on a ring. And yeah, so, and that also means that you can check back at things that you wrote like a week ago and go, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, and maybe you won't want to do it anymore, and you can scribble it out, or maybe you've already done it and you can be like, fuck yeah, check, you know. But having that record will be super useful for just keeping on top of things. Okay, so my last tip for this video, I have no idea how long this has been, but I feel like it's probably too long. My last tip is do not overdo it. Do not push yourself to the point where it's damaging, because you're going to suffer the consequences. Or if you have to do it for some reason, do it with caution and make sure you plan time to recover. So I personally get really exhausted really quickly. My energy just runs the fuck out very fucking quickly, and doing half the amount in one day that someone else can do can just wipe me out. And it can be really hard to see other people just keep doing stuff all fucking day without a break, or running on like 4 hours sleep a night, and you're just like, how? Because I would literally just break down. Like, I would just fall apart. I would stop functioning. I wouldn't be able to like speak like in words, you know, like I'd just break. But the thing is, pushing yourself past that point where you're naturally like tapped out is then sort of going into negative, but with interest. Like, it's damaging you working on empty, basically. Like, it's causing damage in that time. So if you push yourself a few hours more, you know, you could need twice the time the next day to recover and feel back to normal again and get your energy and your stamina back. So knowing your limits and knowing what works for you and what you can handle and how often you need to rest. If you need to nap in the middle of the day just to get through the day, fucking nap, okay? Like, it's not stupid. And I get a lot of people who are like, what the fuck, why do you need that much sleep? Are you a child? Like, no. Like, why is it like I don't know, but there's this weird like negativity around needing a lot of sleep. And I think girls need more sleep than guys in general as well, so that's another thing to note. But I personally, like, I work best at 9 hours sleep, and anything less than 7 hi baby, anything less than 7 hours is gonna cause me problems. It's gonna cause me cognitive problems. I'm gonna be more hungry, I'm gonna be more grouchy, my vision's gonna be worse, my concentration's gonna be worse, my memory's gonna be worse, my speed is gonna be worse. I'm slower when I'm tired, so that just makes it even harder to get things done. So staying on top of your sleep and just not pushing yourself past your limits is going to help you be more consistent. And that's also why I really enjoy being self-employed, because I control how long my shifts are, and I would rather do 6-hour shifts every day of the week than 10-hour shifts half that time, because a 10-hour shift would fucking kill me and I would have to spend the entire next day sleeping. Whereas if I do a 6-hour shift every day, then I'm not getting to that point where I need to recover and I can get more done in between my shifts. Whereas if I'm pushing myself, then that time in between those long shifts, I need to rest, and that's just no fucking good. So sometimes working smaller and pacing yourself means that you can do stuff more often and get the most out of your time. So yeah, that was my last tip. If you guys enjoyed this and you found it helpful, let me know in the comments, and also give it a thumbs up. If you want a part 2, let me know, or if you want any more videos on this topic, then again, let me know in the comments. I always appreciate getting feedback, so that I can improve and, you know, make sure we're all having a good time. Thank you guys for watching. I know this video kind of dragged on a bit. I had a lot that I wanted to get in, and I don't know if I'm going to do a part 2 or not of this, so I didn't want to like hold any back that I thought were important. So yes, I will see you in my next one. If you subscribe, which you should, because that would be nice, wouldn't it?